Captain on the bridge.
Alright, Captain, red alert. Alright, Captains, we are back on the bridge, and today there is another video on the tweeters that we saw that we wanted to go over. Not only that, also some sound bites from the actual actors and actresses who will be playing the crew of Strange New Worlds. So, on screen. So, what I want to do is go over this video quickly, drop the two ECs there, then go over these sound bites, give my thoughts, and because I would like to see the actual thoughts of the actors, actresses playing these characters and see if it matches up to what they actually will bring to the characters. So while we do that again, we'll just be dropping our two ECs. Captains, I am super excited. Strange New Worlds happens tomorrow, and I will be able to watch it. Again, I am not guaranteeing that I'll be doing reviews on them, but if there's ECs to be dropped, Captains, you know we will do it. So here we go. We'll watch the video in entirety, then drop our ECs.
What's the mission?
We explore. Be vigilant. Get creative. You're the best of Starfleet. We survive this by working together. Hit it.
Oof. Okay, now I've said this plenty of times, but yes, let's go. Still excited, very, very much so. Captains, I'm a little under the weather. Just had a migraine, so that was the best I could muster up. But let's go over this quickly. Again, another beautiful shot there of the Enterprise. Now, one thing I can see back here, yes, definitely that it looks like a Gagarin or Shepard, actually, from the 23rd century. Not sure if that there's another ship in itself, but that indeed is a Shepard class right there, which in Star Trek Online is a Gagarin, but we can also use that skin actually. So nice to see that. I wonder if we're going to see a lot of these ships come into play in terms of battles. A lot of what we've seen so far are definitely just shots of the Enterprise and not even the Enterprise firing itself. So thought that was really cool seeing it there a little bit more in detail.
What's the mission?
We explore.
So again, huge emphasis on the exploration part of this, and of course they keep saying here again, there's Ortegas there. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ortegas is going to bring to this, and we'll speak more to that when we go over these sound bites of the actors and actresses here. But the one thing that I will take from this, of course, we saw this scene already of Yuna on a planet each week. So again, each episode is going to be its own contained episode and won't be like previous Trek like Picard or Discovery where one plot just drags on, and I have heard that terms before, that story just seems to drag on. As much as I love Picard, I'm actually just more looking forward to Strange New Worlds because of its own contained episodes. I'm not left on a cliffhanger. To be honest, Caps, I hate that. So really looking forward to how they're going to attack each episode, and then it can be judged on its own. And then another shot of the Enterprise, we saw that already. Heard Pike's already. Did it look like he was crying here? Or is that just the light shining off of Pike there? It looks like he was crying.
Be vigilant.
Yeah, probably not. Seen that scene already. Okay, this scene, not necessary. Don't need to see a shirtless Spock, in my opinion, but whatever, they put it in there. New mission, of course, creative. Pike still speaking there in the background. Nice shot of the transporter. Again, too futuristic for my taste, but it is what it is. Try to look past that. Looks like another scene there with Spock and his girly girl. Seen that before. I think this is kind of a new scene, I believe, but I haven't seen it. Looks like they're on a mission there. I do like their tactical away missions. That one that we saw from Discovery. Again, a little too forward, but trying to get over that. I don't recognize the species, but this looks like the alien species that Pike was dressing up as, or was in sort of incognito, or when he was beamed into the alley, as he said. It looks like they're going to get caught. New adventure. So this scene looks like they were concentrating a little bit more on Uhura. Of course, you had Spock there, La'an, and focusing on Uhura. Now, there was a line from one of the previous trailers saying, La'an telling Uhura, stay with me. So maybe Uhura has a fear, sort of a fear of away missions or doing spacewalks or something like that. That'll be interesting to see how that flies out. I think this is a new shot of the Enterprise flying.
We survived this by working together.
Oof! I love that. New voyage. Of course, to the unknown. The unknown, of course, his little Pike's famous.
Hit it.
Love it. So again, Captain, this is going to come out tomorrow as of this recording. So May 5th. We've been sort of working our way through this and covering what we can. I'm super excited for this. As always, there's another thing I do want to cover, and we'll do that right now. So let me close this off. Now, there was a bunch of interviews done with the crew. So what I want to do is kind of, they're like 1 minute, 2 minutes, and I just want to get a sense of how they feel about the character and what they had to do, learn to get ready for Strange New Worlds. So again, you're just going to hear the sound bites, Caps. We have a picture of the crew right there. I do love this wallpaper, this poster picture. It looks so good, especially with the Enterprise. Again, the emphasis that they put on the Enterprise being in its own shots in all of the trailers, I love it. Again, the respect to having the Enterprise being in its own character. And of course, we're going to start with Ortegas here because she's going to be the one piloting it. So let's have a look here. And Captains, it's going to be sound bites. So just a fair warning. Here we go.
Let's show them what you got.
So when I first got the role, the audition for the role, the writing was so wonderful, and I felt this connection to Ortegas. I had the breakdown, right? I knew it was Star Trek, and the breakdown was that she was a combat veteran, skilled pilot, can handle a phaser, and can also, crack a joke when a joke needs to be cracked. And I felt just that the audition sides I got were so much me, and also in the future. Like I like to say, like Ortegas is like a cooler version of me in the future. Like in the future, I'd love to fly a starship. So when I booked the role, I also got the added element of this is a brand new character that gets to interact with all these legacy characters, which is going to be a lot of fun for fans. But this idea that she's so confident, but not cocky in in a lovable way, right? Not in an obnoxious way, because she is really skilled. Pike trusts her intrinsically, and she has such great trust in the rest of her crew. And that comes off. And so when somebody is so good at their job and trusts, everybody equally on, in their workspace, then you're allowed to kind of joke and play, and that really comes off. Like she loves the adventure of what she does, and she also takes it really seriously. We get this episodic adventures where you get to see, the toll that it takes when lives are on the line. And so I've just been having a blast, creating this character, and also looking back to all the pilots that have come before that fans are already comparing her to, even though they haven't seen anything. And so I'm trying to make my own mark on it by just bringing myself to it, and then also just letting what the writers have created just come to the screen. And I'm also taking a lot of what the fans love about Star Trek and putting that into Ortegas. Like she loves Starfleet in the way that fans love Star Trek.
I like that. So again, I'd say that I'm sort of a fan of Ortegas. It's been really sort of great to kind of go over all the pilots and seeing her in the scenes as she was in them. And I get that vibe, but you're saying that she's kind of putting her own spin on it, but she's also kind of funny. And I'm looking for, now she has 2 here, so we're going to listen to the second one here.
Let's show them what you got.
Yeah, for me, the helm console, like I was doing like these Zoom sessions with the graphics department, with like, you know, with people who have been with Star Trek for the last 30, 40 years, and like asking about like the engines, the way everything works. And everybody was just like, apparently word got out that Melissa's a little loony, like she's like really thinks she's flying a starship. But for me, it was important to know, like, how am I going to impulse? How am I going to warp? Like there are times where I'm doing like evasive maneuvers, you know, where Pike will like give me an order and I'll be like on it, but it won't come up on my screen. And so I'd be straight up texting like graphics, and I'd be like, can you guys give me something? And they'll be like, well, it probably won't play in the episode. And I'm like, yeah, but it's playing in my face. So they would like create all these things for me, and I'd be like, can we change this screen and that screen? And so because I also think it's really important for the fans, you know, and I know that there are going to be fans who like know more about the Enterprise than even I do, even though I've been doing my research. So for me, it was just kind of like when I'm there, I'm flying. Like there would be times where Ansem would be like, you know, speaking to somebody on the view screen, and I'd have like a little quip and I'd miss it, and Anson's like, Melissa, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, like I'm flying.
Yeah.
And I just am not. I'm so focused. So I'm the dorky one on the bridge for sure.
Oof. That was very relatable. I'm pretty dorky in real life, so it looks like she was really doing, and I appreciate that from her, I really do. She's really taking it seriously and really trying to think about the fans, us, you know, and I really think that she'll do well. It's a new character, so she has a lot of room, just like kind of Pike said. Pike is one of the characters you don't know a lot about, so he's going to try to infuse his own Pikeness into it. So I'm looking forward to see what Ortegas can do. The next one we'll look at here is, we'll actually go to Uhura. Actually, no, we'll go Chapel. Go Chapel here. We'll have a quick look-see at Chapel. Now, again, Chapel, I don't have a lot of sort of background on her, other than knowing, obviously, Major Barrett played her. And I was told that there is some sort of relationship with her and Spock, a one-way, more that she's more flirtatious with Mr. Spock, but it's not reciprocated, and obviously it's not, because they show Spock with his better half there. So let's Jess Bush, I don't know her, I haven't seen her. Same thing with the character for Ortegas. Melissa, I don't know Melissa. Again, another sort of permission to explore the character. I've said it before, Captains, I haven't seen TOS, seen clips here and there, but don't know a lot about her. So it'll be interesting to see what she brings. I liked what I saw when she was in the clips. I really thought that that whole rough and tumble like she was talking about is there. So it's going to be a little bit more action oriented with her, it seems. There was a couple scenes here, looking from the last one we covered, where she's running down, chasing after someone, it looks like. But who knows? I think it's gonna be more like of a cherry on top to have her. Again, I have not seen this actress, but love how she's taken off the accent, and I believe she's just gonna have a regular accent there, but we'll see. So we will go check on Uhura now. So Celia Rose Gooding. Celia Rose Gooding. Again, I have not seen this actress, but in what we've already seen, again, I think I've made it clear I'm for it. I like what I feel, or what I think she's going to be bringing to the character Uhura. So let's have a listen here.
Cadet Uhura, very happy to have you aboard.
Glad to be here.
I hear you speak 12 languages.
37.
Wow.
Who knows where I'll end up?
Actually, my first introduction to Uhura as a character, my mom's a huge Trekkie, and so she used to take my sister and I to watch the movies at movie theaters when they were still a thing. I remember running to the front row and watching it by myself and craning my neck up to look at Zoe. And I just remember being so captivated by, she knew how brilliant she was.
Sir, I intercepted and translated the message myself. Kirk's report is accurate.
It wasn't something that she had to like make a spectacle of. It was just something that like when she needed to be that capable, brilliant person, there she was to be just that. And then with Nichelle, she had this grace and this glamour and this, of course, she had that intelligence and her brilliance. And I think that that's the thing that I'm trying to carry in this very young version of her.
Mr. Spock, I haven't done anything like this in years. If it isn't done just right, I could blow the entire communications system. It's very delicate work, sir.
I can think of no one better equipped to handle it, Miss Uhura.
This understanding that she knows even more than she probably thinks she knows. And she's much smarter than I think she assumes of herself. But the newness and the unsurety is something that I am weaving through this character as we get to know her season to season. We know where she ends up and we know who she ends up being, but we don't really know how she got there. That is something that I'm excited for the audience to sort of mark through the first season and of course in the seasons to come.
Again, speaking to the whole, I like what she said there at the end. We know who Uhura is, who should become, but how she got there. So again, gonna explore that. I've said this before, Captains. When it comes to prequels and all that, I don't really like that. But they do have a huge slate to kind of work off of, because they know at the very end where the character is going to be. We won't talk about redactions and changes, but regardless, this is still something open to them. I think I kind of liked it when she said she liked Zoe in the Calvin timeline, because I did actually like Uhura in the Calvin timelines, and she did really good in my opinion as an sort of a new edgy Uhura. And of course, when Nichelle, the only times that I've really seen her, the original Uhura, was more of the TMP, but I liked her role, and she's gonna totally grab that, and of course imprint her own Uhura. And she was the first one we covered, and like I said before, I'm really all for Uhura because she was really sort of excited in a sense for her role, and you can really tell that coming across in these little sound bites here. So we'll see what she brings, and we did say that she has some sass, so I'm all for her showing the sass. Now we'll go to Christina Chong, who is going to be La'an Noonien Singh. So we'll see what she has to offer there for this character. Do this up here.
And And then I'll be completely honest with you, it only landed with me how big this whole thing, this whole show was, and how much it means to the Star Trek fans, community, when I watched the opening credits the other day.
Yeah, was that the first time you'd seen him?
Yeah, and I watched them and I'm like, oh my god, I get it. Get it, how amazing it is, like the idea. I know it sounds ridiculous, I hadn't thought about this before, right? But the thought of like these people on this ship, and I was suddenly looking at the Enterprise in the graphics going, oh my god, all our little characters are on that ship, and then we're going to explore Strange New Worlds. I was like, no, yeah, of course, like I just never thought of it like that before, right? I was doing a job.
Right, yes,
and,
when you're inside.
And it's been so quick, everything's been so quick, and it's like, it's suddenly I just had a moment on the plane to just go, oh my god, and I started tearing up, and so I'm probably going to cry now when I watch it, but...
There she is, Christina Chong. Again, I don't know anything about that actress now. Her interview was more on the red carpet. The other ones were looked like were just kind of called interviews. And again, I don't know a lot about this character, but of what we've seen, she's going to be that sort of surviving, lonely, tough little officer that she's probably going to portray that. And again, she is acknowledging how judgy the Trek fandom can be. For me, I try to enjoy Trek for what it is and what it can do, like I've said so many times, especially for Star Trek Online, because my hope is everything that we see in Trek now will come into Star Trek Online, whether that be costumes, the ships, and possibly the voice actors, because the voice actor work in Star Trek Online, especially over the past 5 years, have just been great. And of course, recently with having Captain Janeway there, that just marks a more connection to the actual Star Trek. So again, we'll see what she can do. So we'll go over to Spock here. Actually, no, we'll go to Una. So Rebecca Romaine. So we know her. I know her from a lot of like Marvel, or the movies, or the X-Men movies. And when I first saw her in Discovery, and how she portrayed herself, the strong, really willed, and really someone who could be your number one, I fell in love with her. So she's got 2 clips here. We'll just go over it back to back.
All I ever wanted since I first saw the stars was to join Starfleet.
You're the best first officer in the fleet. You're an example to all of us.
La'an is like a protege. Una saved her life early on. You're going to see more about La'an's backstory, and I think Una is very protective of La'an, and she knows that La'an has had this really horrible childhood and wants to help her find levity, wants to help her find some light in the universe. She's sort of taken her on as like a lifelong personal project. I think she adores her. No one loves the stars more than Una. No one loves Starfleet more than Una, and she is extremely good at what she does. And in what we learn about her in episode 3, we find that she's hiding something, and she sort of hides behind meticulous work, and she is slightly intimidating to the rest of the crew to keep her distance so that nobody finds out the secret that she's hiding. The writers floated this idea to me pretty early on, and I just thought it was such an incredible layer to the character. And we're gonna keep exploring that in a pretty major way throughout the season. Una was kind of a real mystery until now.
Ooh, we were just speaking to that, the whole La'an survivor thing, and now Una is going to be kind of her mentor thing. So that's going to be interesting to kind of see. So she's got another clip here. We'll have a look at that. But she was right in the whole portrayal of her character. I felt it. Definitely her presence was definitely there, and it was quite memorable. And that's why I think I do actually love how she's being portrayed here by Rebecca. Go to her next clip here.
All I ever wanted since I first saw the stars was to join Starfleet.
You're the best first officer in the fleet. You're an example to all of us.
Star Trek is such a great platform for storytelling, and because we're standalone episodes, each episode is a different opportunity to tell a new story with important messaging. And we're now in the middle of we're past the middle of our second season. We've made 16 episodes, and we're so excited to finally introduce this show. I mean, it's like the longest pregnancy in history. I was introduced to Star Trek by my mom at the age of 8, the original series. I know Anson was also introduced to Star Trek at the age of 8 by his mom. And I think that that's not by accident. I think moms want to introduce their kids to Star Trek because when you look into your child's eyes, and I can say this as the only mom in our cast, you see curiosity, you see a need for exploration. You want your kids to think universally and think totally outside the box. And that's what the original series did. It sparked a lot of conversation between my mom and me about whether or not we're the only ones in this universe, about acceptance, about people from all different backgrounds coming together and working in harmony, about exploration and curiosity. And these are all things that mothers foster in their children. So I think when I said that at the convention in Chicago, all day long, everybody I passed said, my mom introduced me to Star Trek. My mom introduced me to Star Trek. Like, I just kept hearing that over and over and over again. And I just love that. I hope we do that for a new generation of Star Trek fans.
I wish my mom introduced me to Star Trek. Captains, how I got into Star Trek was literally by myself. I was flipping through the channels, I believe it was Saturday afternoon after all the morning cartoons, when Saturday morning cartoons were a thing. And I've said it before, the first thing I saw was a beauty shot of the Enterprise, of its the frontal view of the camera panning. It was either up or down or down or up, one of those stock images, and that is actually what captured me, was visually the ship. And of course, watching TNG forward, that is where I kind of got into it more, but it was always about the ships, characters, and the story, but mostly about the ships and the pew-pews. Now, TNG didn't have a lot of that, but for me, what I took away from TNG was the message of hope. And it's not the first time I've said that, and that's why I think I'm latching more onto Strange New Worlds, because it is actually pushing that sort of theme along with exploration that Star Trek The Next Generation had. So I love the fact that I'm able to hear, and this is why I want to share with you, Captains, the thoughts of the actors and actresses, because as a Trek fan, we all have our backstories. And we all share it with each other, especially when we meet like-minded captains. With these actors and actresses, it's just fun to hear what they're wanting to put into the character. And for me, it's just a way to, again, just kind of go over this and just immerse myself as much as I can, especially with Strange New Worlds and its upcoming episodes. So we got 2 more here. So the last 2 will be Pike, and then we'll just give our final conclusions here. Of course, Captains, you know I've had a major captain crush on Captain Pike, but can you really blame me? Can you really blame me? Here we go.
I know exactly how and when my life ends. How will it live in me?
You know, we got to see him lead a crew that was not his own on Discovery, and now we get to see him lead his own crew. And I really wanted to flesh out that tremendous sense of empathy I think he has, which is, it goes hand in hand with humility. I think that's partly what makes him such a good leader and captain. Every time a crew member walks through the doors of his office, the most important thing in the room is not Pike. It's not even necessarily the question. It's the crew member. He has to care about them above and beyond his own sense of self. That's why his existential crisis at the beginning of the series is not his own fear of death. It's can I continue to serve as a captain when I'm dealing with this? Am I going to be able to be responsible for hundreds of people who serve under me dealing with this crisis? And how do we as people telling the story find a way through that, not ignore that, but find a way through that that leads into further development of the character?
Wow. How can you not? look forward to Pike. Well, I am looking forward, and I did like his sort of little spieler on when someone's coming to see him. So in real life, captains, I do have a sort of management role in certain aspects of my life, and to be honest with you, that's one of the things that I try to do is cater to whomever's coming to me for advice, for help, for guidance, whatever that may be. I don't try to make it about me. I try to make it about them because they came to me. They chose to come to me. So all I can do in return is give that attention to them and then just work through whatever problem that's secondary. First thing is first, of course, is just getting them to trust you. And I love how he's talking about that trust. And we've said it before and when we're going over these trailers, he's really taken it seriously, and it's going to be a layer of story that is going to be there in each episode. And one thing that Rebecca said, they're already 16 episodes in by the time of this, probably almost done season 2, but it's the excitement is what I'm hearing in their voices, all of them, really, to be honest with you, all of them. And that excitement is, I hope, is something that they got from being proud of what they did there. And not to say that all the any actors doing a project is not going to be proud of what they do. Of course they will, but for me, I want to take away from it is just their excitement working on Star Trek and making something that the fans have been wanting for a long time. So that's kind of what I get from it. So there's one more clip here. We'll have a look at it, and it's, of course, of Captain Pike. Now, there was none of these interviews for Mabanga and or Hammer, which is kind of a bummer, but did that rhyme? Did I just make that rhyme? Jeez. I didn't mean to, but I think it worked. Kind of sucks. I was sort of hoping that we would see some interviews from them because I wanted to include it in this video, but it's the day before. Again, captains, this may be the last thing I cover for Strange New Worlds because I've been having such a blast covering all these trailers, all these character bios. It's been really fun to work on, and something that has really rekindled the love for Star Trek. But anyways, we'll go to the last one clip here for Mr. Pike, Captain Pike, and then we'll give our conclusions.
Space. The final frontier.
I knew I wanted to do that speech. I knew it like I knew I wanted to eat. And so I was very grateful, and Henry and Akiva told me that I would be doing it. We kind of did it on the fly on the set as a temp track for the editing process. But then I was like, you know what, I really want to make sure I got this right. So they sent a bunch of equipment to my place in Connecticut. I've set up basically a sound studio in my basement. I was there recording while our tech guy was in New York, and our post-production crew was in Los Angeles. We're all networked. And we're slogging this out and doing many, many takes. We're combining a sentence from this take, a sentence from that take, and making sure everything is sounding the way we want, and doing several versions, coming back to it. And this is back in October. And there's a moment where I said, guys, can we just take a moment here and acknowledge the fact that we are gonna remember this moment for the rest of our lives. I mean, it is a select, very, very, very select group of people who has the privilege to work on this speech. And everybody said, yeah, that's really cool, that's really cool. And then there was a pause, and I said, of course you realize right now William Shatner is in orbit. Which is also a good lesson for me. Don't ever try to outdo Shatner.
All I got was just good feels. I really did. And I've said it before, covering all the Stranger World stuff has really rekindled something for me, and hearing him go through that and wanting him to do that and wanting to give it due justice was really good to hear. And that's why I wanted to go over this video. This is why I wanted to do this, was, again, once again, immerse myself a little bit more into Strange New Worlds. Again, captains, I know that there's a risk of me being disappointed depending on what I actually see, because regardless, this Strange New Worlds could be good for me, but bad for someone else, and vice versa. Bad for someone else, or they don't like it, and good for me. So I really want to just keep up with that message of hope. I'm hopeful because it's been a good long while since I've felt the feels of Star Trek, and this has really kind of brought it back to me. And that intro, that intro, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna give it one more, just one more. Yes, let's go. Just the feels, and that's what I'm here for. And Captains, like I said, we'll do a bit more covering if we can, the episodes, if there's something that we really want to drop our ECs with. But this has been really fun. I want to take this time and thank you, Captains, for checking out all the things that we worked here for or on here on the YouTube bridge. I appreciate all the views, the comments, the likes. This has been something that proved to me that my love for Star Trek was not just Star Trek Online, but of course Star Trek in general. And here we go, one more sleep, Captains, and or actually by the time you see this video it will be the day of. So again, Captains, like the video, comment down below what did you like and what are you looking forward to, and again, subscribe here to the YouTube bridge, and we'll try to do more content like this. Whenever we have the 2 ECs to drop, we will do so. So Captains, I think really the best way to end this video is on this.
Don't let them promote you. Don't let them transfer you. Don't let them do anything that takes you off the bridge of that ship, because while you're there, you can make a difference.